Good morning, or afternoon as it may be. We're going to talk about the third pillar of Islam today, Zakat. A couple of brief points about Zakat. It is, of the 5 pillars of Islam, normally considered to be the third one. It comes from an Arabic word which means to purify. The idea is that when you give Zakat, when the Muslim gives Zakat, they are somehow purifying not their income, but their wealth. So how do you know who pays Zakat? It's kind of like taxes. If you have below a certain value, you don't have to pay them, although taxes is usually income. So what is the value that you have to have for a continuous year? You have to be worth at least 3 ounces of gold. 3 ounces of gold. That's called the nisba. You don't need to know the Arabic. But if you go down below that during 1 year, and here we're talking about the Islamic year, which is 12 lunar months, so usually about 10, 11 days shorter than the Gregorian or solar year, which is what we're more used to using. But if your your value, your wealth goes down below that during the year, you don't have to pay Zakat. And the idea is that once every year you've chosen a day. For many Muslims it's during Ramadan, but it doesn't have to be. You choose that day, and whatever your net worth is on that day, you pay, how much is it? 2.5% of your net worth. 2.5% of your net worth. Here's the second point. A lot of Muslims like to pay the Zakat during the end of Ramadan. There's an old Islamic tradition from a hadith that says that your good deeds on those last days of Ramadan are worth 10 times more than good deeds done during other parts of the year. So that's the second point. A third point is that you don't have to pay Zakat on regular resources that you have, like your house or your car. There are complicated rules about Zakat if you have livestock or you own, restaurants or shops. But for most people, that's it, 2.5% of your net value. Another thing about Zakat is that it can really only go to helping other Muslims. This makes it quite different than Christian or secular or Jewish charities, for example. If you have some neighbors and they really need some help paying their light bill and they're Muslims, you can say, this is part of my Zakat. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you this money, and that can count towards your Zakat. But if they're not Muslims, they're any other religion, you can still help them, but does not count towards Zakat. So Zakat is a way of really having benefits for Muslims. So historically, for example, what could you use Zakat for? You could use it for education. You could use it to pay for the freeing of a Muslim slave. You could use it to help the poor. This is the traditional meaning of Zakat. I also want to say one other thing about Islamic charity. There's another one called Sadaqah, and that's just charity that goes throughout the year. That is not, it is voluntarily given, but there's no formula as to how to calculate the Sadaqah and how much you should or shouldn't give. So anyway, there we have it. That's an interesting introduction to Zakat. There are entire institutions that you just give the money to them and they will figure out how to partition the Zakat, or you can go ahead, if you know people or you know a particular mosque, you can go ahead and use it for that. And let me say one final word. One of the favorite things that people like to do with Zakat is to pay for the building of a mosque. This is a very common thing for especially Muslims in the West who have done well financially, is to build a mosque back at home. Why is this? Again, there's another Islamic tradition that all the good prayers and the good deeds that are done in the mosque that you funded somehow accrue to your balance of good deeds on the Day of Judgment. So it's obviously spiritually, from a Muslim point of view at least, it's a very good investment to build a mosque, because that's just it's like having continuing income from an investment that you're always just going to get that income and you really don't have to do anything to get it. So anyway, that's the third pillar of Islam, Zakat. And if you have any questions, leave them below. Thank you very much. And thank you for having a heart for sharing the gospel with Muslims and reaching them in Jesus' name. God bless you.